Yeah, it's super interesting when you look at the stats on where the industry is expecting all the growth for media to come from. It's expected to be connected TV and retail media, to which us retail media pioneers are like, finally, the world is getting it and understanding the value of retail media. What is exciting for me is when you think about what could happen if the two came together. So if connected TV really wants to hold itself accountable to better outcomes for brands, and then retail media has this great wealth of first-party data that can build really high-quality audiences off of what real people are really doing, and then be able to measure that some kind of sale actually happened. It's just a real rich area for these two really dynamic sectors to come together and start to innovate television overall.
Well, you talk to brands every day. What are they struggling with, or what is their perception of the reality or maybe the opportunity, or both in CTV and actually really in converged TV, which is sort of all of the forms of television? What are you hearing?
Yeah, what we hear pretty often, so we meet with the brands all day long, all week long, and we're not only meeting with the shopper side, but we also meet with the brand side and the brands agencies. And what they're really struggling with is the complexity. So they absolutely recognize the promise, and they're excited about the promise, and they're doing as much as they can to build internal data capabilities so that they're able to actually take full advantage of what's happening with connected TV and retail media. But for both connected TV and retail media, it's very complex. And so what they're worried about is that there's no standardization across both sectors, and that they can't possibly hire enough people to manage all of the work and having to execute in all the different platforms that we're requiring them to do. I think it's even more complex with connected TV because you have even more players that have been building themselves for multiple years versus retail media, which is still reasonably new. So it's kind of an interesting opportunity for us to learn from each other and maybe help each other move forward in a more productive way.
Well, I like that theme. So what would, like, if you could say to retailers, do this, don't do this, or here are some things to think about as you've been in this industry for a long time, you have been participating in the ad ecosystem for a long time, and you're seeing the way CTV is growing and fits and starts and the opportunities and the challenges. What would you say? Like, what's the right way to approach this?
It's, I guess, kind of the thought that I've had even today sitting here at the Beet Retreat is don't hold your thing too precious. That the innovation will really happen when we all work in a more open ecosystem. I think you see that with retail media networks too. A lot of them are recreating another walled garden, which we don't need more walled gardens. We talk about ourselves as being a co-op garden because by design, we want to go to where the market is, where transactions happen versus making the industry come to yet another platform. I think connected TV could benefit from figuring out what could be common and then what could be unique and differentiated. And I think there's a lot of work that could be done in that. Like, do you find that common space around identity, and then different characteristics of different platforms is where you really differentiate. It feels like we haven't quite figured out how the whole ecosystem can come together in a more efficient way so that in the end it's a great experience for our clients, for the brands, because I don't think we've really considered them in this situation yet.
I think we want to, but we get a little bit caught up in the sort of day-to-day of, the thing we're trying to do, or the shiny object that we represent, or the thing we really believe in, but it's ours.
Right.
So
or that thing
natural.
That needs to be wrestled to the ground is hard, so someone else should probably do it.
The nice thing about this, I really do believe, is that you've got the people in the room that want to affect change and are trying to do that stuff. So what are you hearing about at the Beet Retreat that you're excited about?
I'm excited about some of the content players. So what some of the networks are doing. I have waited for a long time for the linear TV companies, now really big media companies with great streaming product. I'm excited to see how much they're leaning in and innovating and bringing all the high quality content that comes from being a traditional media company, now bringing it into a more modern world. I think that's going to be a real game changer.
They also seem to be very data driven.
They are, more so than most. I think they're brave enough to drive in there now. You know, and it's one of my theories has always been that all of the lower rated programming that they bundle together with all their higher rated programming, kind of the market has given it no value up until these last couple of years, where now we have better data and we can start to understand. It might be a small audience, but they're really passionate about that program, and if you're a brand, you want to show up in that environment. And so now suddenly some of the things they've almost had to write off can carry a real high value for them.
I love that.